Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to On the Juice, where we're talking about The Expanse, which just started its sixth season last week, and it's already kicked off 2 episodes, and I'm happy it's back. And I'm here today with Michael. Say hi, Michael.
Everyone.
So, are you happy it's back?
I'm one of those people. I'm happy it's back, but I also realize it's the last season and we just got the last book. So it's time to say farewell to our friends that we've known for a number of years.
It's like the end of any good trilogy, saga, anything. It kind of stinks, but at the same time, it's been great. And this has been what we've got 9 books and how many novellas?
I don't remember. And then don't forget, we've got one more novella coming out when they compile all the novellas next year in March. And so it's going to be post from what Ty and Daniel said, it will be post the last book, the last novel, Leviathan Falls. So it'll be post that. So it's supposed to tie up everything, even though in theory, the epilogue of book 9 tied everything up.
Right. I've only read through book 6 right now, so I still have 3 to go. I was going to try and do that over the summer, but things got busy.
Well, it's just like this last season here. We were so involved in watching the episodes. That's what we're going to go with. Okay, that we didn't do our episode last week, and so this week we're going to be doing 2 episodes.
That is correct. The first 2 episodes of season 6. Well, do you want to get right into it?
Sounds like a thing to me. Oh, yeah. Spoilers.
As you see at the bottom of the screen, we're going to be talking about these 2 episodes. So if you haven't seen them yet, turn us off, go watch them, and then come back.
And we might we're going to try not to talk about book 9, though. We will not talk about book 9. Okay.
Well, I haven't read it yet, so I can't talk about it. This one's on you, Michael.
All right. So I will not spoil that. It is too good. It is just too wonderful. It's incredible. But let's go to episodes 1 and 2, or 601. They're called 601 and 602. That's the way they designate the episodes.
Mm-hmm. So you want to start with 601. What did you think? First episode back. It's been, a long time since they got everyone from, back on the ship after season 5. Crew's all back, mostly.
Well, we've got one. Well, we lost one and then we gained one.
Right.
And so, all right, just real quick. This episode was directed by Brett Eisner, and it was written by Narain Shankar, who's the showrunner. Okay. So, and just for pure gossip's sake, Brett Eisner is their favorite director. Okay. Jeff Wolnoff, who comes up, in episode 2, is their second favorite. They'll never own up to that, but behind the scenes, Breck is their favorite director.
Right, only off the record.
Yes. And this is, we'll talk about this later, and when we finally get to the final one. But it's interesting. They only had 4 writers for these episodes. So as we go through, I'll let you know the directors and the writers, and I think it should be interesting as you look at this.
Well, what was the normal last season?
There were more writers, different writers. They only have 6 episodes this time, so it kind of cut back on it. And some of the writer things, from the earlier episodes, especially when they thought they were going to be canceled, some of those writers left the show. So, and then some of these other writers have gone on to bigger and better things because, they're excellent writers.
Very true. Very true. So starting the episode back, we find out that they're still flinging rocks at Earth. They've been able to intercept pretty much everyone since the first one's hit, but it's keeping the military forces on their toes. They can't actually go after Inaros because they have to keep intercepting rocks.
And, a lot's been said about Inaros. Inaros, it's probably smarter. I mean, we think of him as this charismatic leader, but the reality is, as we see in episode 2 as well as episode 1, he's actually thought through a lot of things, and he's actually better prepared than people give him credit for. And even as a charismatic leader, we can't take away from the fact that he moves the Belters, and what makes he understands the Belters, and by throwing the rocks at Earth, which by the way is very cheap. And if you've ever read The Moon is the Harsh Mistress by Robert Heinlein, they threw rocks at Earth cheap. They didn't have to build these fancy rockets or missiles or anything. You just throw, you let gravity do the work for you. You just you launch the rock the right way, and then you let gravity do the rest of the work.
Yeah, and it's the cheapest, easiest way of guerrilla warfare from the belt.
Right. But it's so much the belt when you think about it. It's the perfect thing. And Marco, as we learned, this episode and especially the second episode, he thought this pretty far, but at the same time he has other issues.
I feel like the difference between the book and the TV with Marcos is the books have him, he's still, vain and egotistical, but the well thought out part comes through more in the books, where in the TV, he's just, you really, really want to hate him.
Well, but between the first and second episode, and I wish they had done like they did back in the day. Do you remember when they used to? They would premiere with 2 episodes. I think season 2, didn't they have 2 episodes that they dropped at the same?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and I remember. I think they actually set it up so that we actually went to draft house. Or Alamo Draft House, and they actually showed them there. And my God, on the big screen, it's better. You would think there's some things you don't want to see on the big screen. Their level of detail and just is better on the big screen. It's just wonderful on the big screen.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But honestly, I feel like the first 2 episodes, they feel like that they should have been done together, don't you? I mean, there's
100% one extended episode, basically.
Yeah, and I think we have to talk about the elephant in the room, Strange Dogs.
Okay.
What did you think about that they brought in Strange Dogs?
Wait, what do you mean Strange Dogs?
Strange Dogs that's the title of the first episode. But it's also a title of one of the novellas.
I didn't actually read the novellas. I only read the main books. So,
okay, spoiler alert, everyone! Major spoiler alert. Novellas, you Strange Dogs. You really do need to read that to understand this better. But you don't have to, because they do a lot of the heavy lifting in the episodes. But the strangest thing about it is Strange Dogs chronologically occurs after Babylon's Ashes, which is what this season is based on.
And that's book 6, correct?
Yeah, book 6.
Yep.
And there are those of us who believe, well, since it occurs after Babylon Ashes, the question is, why would they incorporate it into season 6? It doesn't to move the story forward. There's enough material there that, remember, they're only doing 6 episodes. They didn't need to add in Strange Dogs.
Well, give us a breakdown. What is Strange Dogs?
Strange Dogs is a novella about, it's basically like what you see there. It's telling the story of what's happening on Laconia.
Okay. That's what I was going to ask. Is that the little kid on the planet?
Yes. And I'm trying to think. I don't want to spoil it. Okay. If you read the novella, you know what's going to happen. If you haven't read the novellas, I'm not going to tell you, because it's really, really important what happens next regarding what happens on Laconia. because that leads that happens in the last 3 books. So I have to be very careful because there's spoilers, but then they're just like crazy spoilers, and I don't want to do crazy spoilers. But honestly, I would suggest you get a hold of that. That is really, really, really. It hints so broadly about what comes next. But my whole point about bringing up the fact that it's called, the first episode is called Strange Dogs, and that it refers back to the novella is it's the perfect setup for the last 3 books. And I'm going to go on record and say this. I'm going to hate myself for this later on, and I know I'm going to get a lot of feedback on this, but I think I'm hoping that they did this for a reason.
Do you mean that they're going to try and combine some more of the story after, say, the end of book 6, where I think the season's probably going to end? Like some more of the greater story past that into these 6 episodes?
No, absolutely not. They're not going to do it. No. I don't. I'm not going to tell you what. All right. I've seen all this. I've seen all 6 episodes, and they're incredible. Okay, but they've told us the truth. They are not going beyond book 6. Okay, with the exception of the novella part, with the exception of Strange Dogs. And I think that I would hope that the inclusion of Strange Dogs into this final season, hence that they want to do something more later.
Movie?
I have no idea, and I'm not going to speculate because I don't want to do that because I don't want to get my hopes up. I don't want to get anybody's hopes up.
But I mean, just to not getting hopes up, but there was always a part of me that was hoping this would get picked up for another season on another network. If Amazon didn't want it, something I would like to see more, maybe graphic novels, maybe something to keep telling the story.
There's I think it was a 20-year gap between the end of book 6 and the start of book 7. 20 years in between. So,
yeah.
We've gone totally off topic here, but just for a second, okay. I know we're going totally off topic from episode 1, but episode 1 does a huge setup for the later episodes, okay. And Strange Dogs is incredibly, incredibly important. So it's just I'm dancing around a lot of things, okay, because I have to, because like I said, I've seen all 6 episodes, but the episodes in themselves are satisfying and they're purposely that way, but adding in Strange Dogs hints at what could come next, and how that comes next, I don't know. But
so I'm going to say here, we heard a whole lot about Strange Dogs, and we don't know where we're going to leave it with because we're not going to speculate.
Okay, yeah, let's move on. But anyway, so we the other elephant in the room is Philippe.
Yes.
We keep forgetting he's a kid.
Right. And he's a kid of
teen. He's an older teen, but he's still a teen.
And he's a kid of basically a dictator at this point.
I think he's going through his own PTSD, don't you think?
I mean, maybe you could call it a little bit PTSD / teenage arrogance / just kind of being a dumb kid.
He's got all these issues. He needs a father to guide him. I mean, after all the horror literally, like his mother said, he killed millions of people. Does that make him proud? All of a sudden, the impact of all this stuff starts hitting him, and then you've got adolescence on top of that too, him becoming a man. We remember what it was like to be teenagers, right? Mm-hmm. And we didn't kill a million people. So he has a lot more on his plate.
And the fact that there's huge expectations of him because of who his father is.
Right. And his father, the reality is his father is a manipulative bastard. His
Yeah.
father. And he's manipulated this poor kid. And, his mother has left him and he takes it personally, whereas
His mother literally jumped into space to get away from him.
Right. But she wasn't doing it to get away from him. She was doing Marco because, it's, to a certain extent, I think that, when you get past bad times, you don't make them as bad. Your brain kind of like, it kind of massages the history a bit.
Sure.
So when she went back there into the ship, she realized, oh my God, it was worse than she thought. That he was always a narcissistic bastard, but he was worse, and he'd become worse.
Much.
Yeah, and so she was leaving to get him, but see, he took it personally. She wasn't leaving to get away from him. She wanted to save him.
Right, but in his mind,
she couldn't save him.
But in his mind,
yes,
she was. Yeah.
Right, and then let's face it, Marco fed that paranoia. He purposely fed it.
100%.
Yeah, and so the unfortunate part about he's a kid who's absolutely manipulated by a beast of a father, and was left by the mother who truly loved him, and she never told him what the true story. And they remember Sid's story either.
Right. Basically, yeah, he heard the condensed one-sided story, and that was pretty much it.
Right. And and so he's dealing with his own PTSD, and what we find out too later on, Naomi's dealing with hers. Holden finally got past his, so they're all dealing, we call it PTSD, but they're just dealing with the horror of the situation, which is so much going on around them.
They're doing a good job of showing the crew being currently ragged and haggard.
They really do. And and one of the things Nadine Nicole, she's they call it being a courageous actor. And I compare her to Charlize Theron when she did that movie Monster, and she made herself feel very, very unattractive. Nadine Nicole is a very beautiful woman, and the way she made herself look and feel so that we felt the pain of Peaches, as she has to deal with the fact that the only person aboard that ship that wants her there is Amos.
Mm-hmm.
And Holden is like, whoa, what's going on here? And then you have Naomi, and Naomi just hates her.
Yep.
So we forget, these are very good actors. This is very good storytelling and very good directing. All these things put in together, plus the visual effects. So the awesome, if you will, is just the absolute gorgeous visual effects, the great acting, the great writing and stuff. So that's what I would call the awesome.
Yeah, and like I touched upon a little bit, like they're doing a really good job of showing them war weary right now, haggard. I mean, Holden, the actor, looks like he's lost 20 pounds, and it's just he's seen some stuff, and they're just conveying that so well in these first two episodes. And the fact that the crew is at each other's throat, right? They probably would be. None of them trust each other right now. They all kind of hate each other right now. I love that they threw Bobby into it, because it's always good to see her back.
Oh,
she's one of my favorites on the show. I love
the second episode, she's a young actor. I think she's in her mid-20s, and so she's the youngest of that entire crew. But you always get the feeling that she's very competent. And the other awesome part is the new person, Rosenfeld. Marco's second in command.
Oh, blonde lady.
Yes, her name is Kathleen Robinson.
Okay.
She is phenomenal. And I mean, didn't you think she was phenomenal?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, she had that kind of talking truth to power moment with Marco in the second episode.
Yeah,
where he's like, "You better watch what you say," and she's like, "I'm going to say it anyway." Okay.
She's wonderfully competent. She's the second in command that someone like Marco needs.
The reality check.
Yeah. Somebody has to tell her that. And on this, I didn't find anything not so awesome. I'm sorry. I some people had paused with the pacing of the first episode, but there's so much whenever whenever there are difficult episodes, and Narain has said this before, is that he writes those, he tends to do them. So this first episode had to set the stage for so many things, and it had to incorporate, the whole Strange Dogs novella into the, if you will, novel 6, which is Babylon Ashes. And so some people, I've heard that they've had fault with the timing, with the pacing of it. I personally think that it did a wonderful setup for everything. And then we start getting that payoff in episode 2. Oh my God, think about that. Oh.
See, that's why I think like that would have been my only complaint, was episode 1 was a little slower. But again, episode 1 and 2 felt like they were just one extended episode. And if you had put them together, that would have been fine. Episode 1 by itself was a little slow. I'm not complaining because, like you said, you had a lot to set up.
Well, the other thing too, in the visual effects, one of the things, one of my friends who's an engineer talked about this. Remember when in episode 2, when they were chasing the Azure Dragon?
Oh, I love that chase scene.
Oh, did you remember when they got caught in the plume, the exhaust plume? It lit up the Rossi, and it heated up for a second before it dissipated heat. I mean, come on.
Every time they would cut their engine, switch, boom, go. It was just the coolest space chase scene.
It was awesome, but it was so good. The science was so good. But that's what we expect. I mean, that is like, think about all the other crap. I'm not going to name any names because, we're not here to talk bad about somebody else.
I was going to say, you don't get people sending us angry emails for down in their show.
No, I'm not going to trash another show, but think about the other scene, the chase scene that's been so scientifically accurate.
No, I don't think you have.
No, I don't think we have, and that's what we expect from them. We will not accept that. We know there's no sound in space. Okay,
right. That is the only thing, and I get why they do it though.
But they owned it. They remember this. They owned it. He talked about this before. Oh, there's something else that people have been bringing up, and this is it's kind of not a total non sequitur, but at the same time, I wanted Marco. Have you noticed Marco has no tattoos?
Yeah, all the Belters have facial tattoos, neck tattoos, very obvious. Yeah, Marco's got nothing. I figured that was a vanity thing.
Well, when I interviewed Keon, who plays Marco, he said that no, Marco did that purposely, because in Marco's mind, he didn't want the inners to be able to identify him as a Belter. He wanted to be able to talk to them at their level. Okay, that's why he did it. That's why. Now, we know that Marco's a narcissist, right? So, however, whatever Marco believes is true may not be true. But in his mind, he did it he had a very political reason for doing it.
Okay, and then one of the other things I think is pretty great is how they're showing that even, like I said, he's basically a dictator who appointed himself over the Belters. And I like that you're seeing some of the Belters are not happy about that. They're kind of going along with it just to survive right now. But you're seeing the rumblings of they're not happy about it either. They don't want to necessarily be at war. You're seeing that with the other ship that was talking to Kara G, her character.
Okay, yeah, the new guy that came in. Let's see, he's
which I really enjoyed him, by the way.
Liang, Walter or Walker. Liang, yeah, he's a great character. But that's the point though. They're happy. Like he said, he actually, to me, exemplifies the Belters the most, because he talks about
Marco gives him the crap jobs, but it's a living.
Yeah, but he said that he went with Marco because what he did to the inners. They fought the inners, and and the reality is the Belters had a very valid reason to be angry with the Embers. They really
Sure.
did. And but to the point, but to the point of having to kill so many different people, millions of people. Well, let's remember something. The Embers didn't take the Belters seriously until the rocks dropped, and then they paid attention to them.
They had no other choice.
Yes.
So yeah,
But,
I agree.
They listened to them a little bit when the rain gate opened. Remember, because the behemoth, they led him. They led him to the table, but suffice it to say, there are things that are going to happen later on that you're going to find interesting.
Okay.
So,
all right. So a lot of awesome. Not really much that wasn't awesome. Theories and what ifs. I mean, I can't ask you that because you know already everything, every single thing. You know everything.
Well, I don't know everything, but I had a chance to chat with them, and then like I said, I've seen the 6 episodes, and I've read all the books, including the last one. So I'm not gonna. Why don't you? Let's hear your theories, and let's see.
Well, at this point, they captured the recon ship that was basically launching the rocks, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're going to get that intel back, hopefully in one piece. Marco is pretty annoyed that they have that ship and may try to make a move on that. I'm not really sure where they're going with the Laconia planet thing because I haven't read that book, so I don't really know what they're doing with that one. I don't really have a theory on that one. I'm just enjoying things as they go right now. I know how book 6 ends, so I don't want to do any spoilers there. I see that kind of kills it. Knowing how that book ends, I don't want to say anything either. That would be a spoiler for that for those who haven't read. So this is kind of a hard topic.
Well, let me say this again. The Laconia stuff, the strange dogs, and whatever. Oh, by the way, the second episode was directed by Jeff Wolnoff, and it was written by Ty and Daniel. So, and I'll say this. This slightly non sequitur, but it goes to something. Ty and Daniel, I felt that from the first book to the last book, they've grown as writers, and that last book is as close to perfect as you can make something. I'll say that. Now, as to the theories, just real quick with the what ifs, the strange stocks part of it is very, very, very important. Very important. I cannot emphasize that enough. It is super, super important. And to the point, did they stick the landing? Hell yeah, they stuck the landing.
First 2 episodes stuck the landing. Obviously, yes.
Easily. I think the other thing is they raise our expectations. And in Ty and Daniel writing these 2 episodes, this episode, and then the next 2 episodes are going to be written by Dan Nowak. Okay, he's been there since the beginning. So what you have the most veteran writers of the series writing these episodes. And I can tell you, all these episodes are tight. And please, you need to watch them twice. Okay, this is very simple. You need to watch them twice. They're telling you so much because if you remember, in season 1, when Avasarala was on the roof with her grandson, talking about rocks. He doesn't want rocks falling on them. That obviously was a foreshadowing of what was to come. There is a tremendous foreshadowing and reference back to earlier episodes. You really do need to watch these things twice because they're so good and they're so dense.
I will say one thing. Last topic was theories and what ifs. Again, I hate to go back to that. So one thing that they brought up, it was only a quick reference, but he's like, the one moment where Holden was asking, have any ships disappeared? I feel like that's important. Have any ships disappeared going through the ring? And they showed that one video of the guy going into the red cloud and disappearing. So I feel like that's something to pay attention to. So yeah, sorry.
Absolutely. No. You're right. It's everything's important. It's because if you read the sixth book, you know everything that we're seeing is super important. I said I have to be very careful. Okay, we know I have to be very careful since since I've read all the books and read all the novellas and seen all the episodes, but we have to. People, honestly, I would recommend everybody watch each episode at least twice. They're super important.
Yep. So stuck the landing, yes.
Yeah, I think we got that. Yeah, they stuck the landing, and they did a wonderful setup for episode 3.
Yeah, it's funny. I feel spoiled because so many shows have gotten me used to binging. I hate waiting a week for an episode now. I feel like it's 100% spoiled, but I hate waiting till next Friday for the next episode.
But just watch them again. I mean, you're not going to be disappointed. I remember the first season because I was writing. I was doing recaps and reviews. Right. I watched some of those episodes 4 or 5 times, and I swear to God, every time I watched it, I found something new. These 6 episodes are so dense, easily so dense and so wonderful. I told that his writing is so dense, it's like a monoblock. Okay, the original block that created the universe. They call it the monoblock. Okay, so that's one way to refer to it. Their writing is so dense that it expands all of you. Start seeing all of creation happening. Hyperbole, yes, but there's so much going on there. You really do want to see it more. You have to see it twice to catch all the things and the nuances, and especially the dialogue, because the dialogue is very dense too. They're telling you an awful lot of things, and you really do want to hear what they're saying. And sometimes it's easy to miss certain things the first time through, but you catch it on the second time through. And I know what some people have actually done too, and I don't know if you know anyone who's done this, but they've turned on the subtitles,
especially for the Belter speak.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So just to keep up with what's going on, and you're not disappointed. Thing. Have you noticed that all their secondary characters, they pick very good actors for all the secondary characters. When have we ever seen a secondary character who's not been a good to a great actor?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I agree.
I mean,
yeah.
Even the small parts. Remember the one Belter who told Naomi that she had to get back in there, that he had that in the Weeping Somnambulist that his speech to the rest of the Belters. Right here, the heart. I mean, right to that man spoke to everybody's heart, and into that greatness that we want to believe that we will rise to when we need to. And I mean, that was a beautiful speech. But he was really a secondary character. But how perfectly was he cast for that role?
I mean, like you said, I think Amazon has done everything just about right with this show. I'm pretty happy with it. I think that's where we're going to wrap up this talk today. So, I highly recommend it. There's a lot of good TV right now. We're working our way through Witcher Season 2, Lost in Space Season 3. I'm still trying to get through Doom Patrol Season 3. All of that said, this is a great show that kind of works its way to the top every Friday. I'm pretty happy it's back.
I am too. I think we're supposed to be saying a farewell. So I can be found at Michael Pea on Twitter. I'm on Facebook, And then don't forget to go to our website, which is Friends of Comic Con, and I write there for Friends of Comic Con, and we cover all these shows, the genre shows, the movies, the cons. I just came back from C2E2, and I stopped at the Starbucks, the 4-story Starbucks, the Roastery.
Jeez.
And if you're into coffee, and if you're into Holden, you know that's Holden would probably space if he went into that place. So just saying. So
Well, yeah, I can be found on Twitter at Big Matty Nasty. It's an old Twitter handle, but I still use it. Come and argue with me. If you disagree with me, if you agree with me, give me a thumbs up or don't. It's cool. Yeah, and we'll be back again next week, probably same time, I believe.
yeah, we'll be discussing one episode instead of trying to get two done in such a short period of time and stuff like that.
Right, one episode now per for the next 3-4 weeks or whatever it is. And
before you go, I'm going to give you. I'm allowed to say this. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Episode is I'm allowed to say this. The next episode is called Force Projection. Force Projection. That's the next episode.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Thank you, everyone, for watching. Hopefully we didn't spoil anything for you. And we'll see you again next week.